Hello and welcome to Runescape, and today saw the release of a new quest and called Beneath Cursed Tides. You need level 30 in a number of skills: woodcutting, firemaking, cooking, mining, smithing, attack, strength and magic, and you can start it by speaking to Wizard Myrtle at the Wizard's Tower, like I'm here. I probably need to go and deposit all my items, as it is an underwater quest, exploring Tutorial Island as it was before it got removed from the game and a new tutorial was added. So I'm going to go through this quest and tell you how to do it. So you start off by speaking to Wizard Myrtle, and she'll tell you to speak to Vanica. So head to Edgeville, go to the Edgeville dungeon and speak to Vanica. He'll then say speak to Myrtle again, so you then speak to Myrtle again, and then they say you need to go to Mudskipper Point, so get the lodestone or something and go to Mudskipper Point. At Mudskipper Point you'll be told about the underwater breathing spell. If you have done a previous quest which gives you the diving apparatus, you are given the option whether you want to use that instead. It makes no difference. I chose without the diving apparatus. And then you'll head down into the bubbles, into the starting location of Tutorial Island. First, pick up the bottle and read the note, and you'll get a key, and you'll find out that there's a adventurer who's cursed the place, basically. There are plenty of places to go and exit back to the surface if you wish. Well, the bubbles that you exit back to the surface, or you can just teleport away or whatever. But you start by reading the note, and you'll get a key, and then you'll enter the first area, where you need to catch shrimp. You find out that you basically need to go through the whole of the tutorial, performing all the challenges to break the curse. So with the catching the shrimp, speak to the first person and tell you to catch shrimp and then cook it. So catch shrimp, there'll be some swimming around, then cook it on a vent, and you'll cook it first time, and she'll tell you that she now wants some burnt shrimp, so you need to go and burn some shrimp. To do this you'll need to cut some seaweed, then you'll need to cut down a tree. You use seaweed to grab the tree, then you use the tree to lever the rock over the vent, or over the hole, and then you can burn the shrimp. So you can burn shrimp that you've already cooked, or you can burn some new shrimp. Then you'll go back and she'll tell you to go and cook some shrimp, so you've got to catch some more shrimp and then go and cook them. The next step is the chef. So you head to the next building along the path and speak to the chef, and he'll tell you that you need some seaweed because that's much better than bread. But there is a giant jellyfish blocking the seaweed who will try to zap your face, or tell you that he'll zap your face. So he gives you a music box, and you need to play 3 songs. These songs, you turn the handle of number 2, then number 3, then number 1 to play it all right, otherwise it goes and plays some other weird thing which he doesn't like. So after they've played, he'll then allow you to grab some seaweed, and you can then go back to the chef and he'll tell you how to prepare it. He'll tell you exactly what it is, so he'll give 3 properties of the seaweed, and each corresponds to the first, second and third segments of the seaweed. Just use the arrows until you get to the right thing, so it could be sweet, bitter, spicy, or a whole bunch of other things. After the steps complete, head along the path to the next building and go down the trapdoor. You'll then head to the mining and smithing sort of section of the Tutorial Island. Speak to the guy there, and he'll tell you to make a bronze dagger. To do this you'll need to go and mine bronze, tin and copper to make bronze. Put the soggy tin and soggy copper inside the furnace. Close the furnace door, then use the pump to take all the water out of the furnace, and then light the furnace. You can then open the door and take out the bronze bar. You can then use the bronze bar on an anvil and make a bronze butter knife, which you can then give to complete this section. Then head along the cave to Vanica, and he'll tell you to do a challenge of using his sword to kill the giant rats. And this is where it says you need sound for it. So the quest uses sounds and music, like the previous thing where the music box. But this time you move your mouse around and have to kill the rats. They'll sort of make a squeaky noise when you hit them with your mouse, just moving about the screen. You also have to go and click on the mouse heads that are sort of spinning around the screen as well. I didn't sort of see any pattern to anything. I just sort of moved the mouse all over the screen. They do tend to end up in the corners quite a lot. And yeah, you just do that until he says stop, and then you'll find all the rats then floating in the water. You can then speak to Vanica again, and you can then continue on your way. Once out the cave, head along the path to the bank and speak to the financial advisor. There's a couple of sort of jokes and stuff around it, and he says there's no good way of making money because there's nothing to gather underwater, there's no people to trade with underwater, and all that kind of stuff. So the best way to make money is to actually rob the bank. And to do this, you need to open the vault door. The clue is that it's a bad idea to set it as your birthday, and the calendar says 169. However, this is not the code, because that's his actual birthday. It's not a good idea to that. So the code is actually 139. There's also apparently an Easter egg if you type in 101, as in room 101, but there's probably a bunch of other hidden Easter eggs as well. But once you've typed it in 169, you can go in and collect all the stuff and speak to the financial advisor, and he'll let you go on to the next area. I found this bit a bit tricky. It took me a while to figure it out. Oh, to be honest, I didn't figure it out. I looked it up myself. So, yeah. Hopefully this doesn't take you too long. But I sort of stopped the recording when I went to look it up, and I didn't turn it on properly when I came back. So that's why there's a bit of a gap. But I did get in the end. The code is 139. Next, head along to the church and speak to the priest, and he'll say you need to ask his friends where his prayer book is, and he gives you his friends list, which has 3 fish on it: Betty, Magikarp, and Nemo. There's 2 fish just outside, and you need to speak to all 3 of them to get the location of the book. It may be different for each player, but I found that people had it as Nemo. There's only 2 fish in this area. You need to go back through the bank and head behind the bank and speak to the fish there. There are 3 more fish there. Only one of them will be Nemo, 2 of them you don't have their names for. And then you'll find out the location of the book. The location that I got told was in the coral. This could be different. It could be up the stairs of the church, in bookshelves, or in another place that you can search. There will be an option to search it after you've spoken to the fish. After this, head on to the final area, the final building, and speak to the wizard. It'll tell you to go and cast something of wind to the chickens. This is where it all seems muddled up. Basically, just click on the chickens to attack them, and you'll stick them in bubbles, which will send them up to the surface. You can then speak to the wizard again, and that will be the section complete. Then the adventurer who caused it all will appear, and there'll be a big sort of engagement, and Vanica will be trapped in a bubble. Wizard Myrtle will come down and get over a fear of water, or if she even had it, jump down into the water, and you'll begin a boss fight with the adventurer. The aim of the boss fight is to push the beam to the other end by clicking on it so that it hits the evil adventurer, while at the same time protecting Wizard Myrtle by turning all the crustacean things in, well, putting them all in bubbles and sending them up to the surface. As it gets close to the end, more and more of these crustacean things appear, and it gets a bit tricky. There's an option on the adventurer to like push the beam towards him. Don't click on it, it comes up with a weird thing saying can't reach this. The easiest thing to do is to keep clicking on Wizard Myrtle, as the push beam option is on her as well as on the beam, and also it allows you to easily click the crustaceans which go near her. So it took me quite a while to do that. I found it sort of buggy and weird and annoying, and I only sort of figured out to do that at the end. So if you click her and switch between her and crustaceans, should be fine, and eventually you'll just defeat him. And that'll be basically it. You stick him in a bubble, Vanica gets out, and you'll return to the surface. Okay, so with the quest complete, 1 quest point, you get Vanaka's Steel Sword Override. It's an override, not an actual weapon, but it's kind of cool anyway. Monthly fishing and farming activity on the Sunken Island, which gives you a chance to get an item from the Clue Scroll rewards. So that could be quite good. That's once a month, and then of course 2 treasure hunter keys. So I'm going to go off and do that activity and see what it's like. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.